Welcome back, everybody. So much happening around the world, as I said earlier. So let's jump into our hot topics right now, explore what's happening here and abroad. All right, so our Prime Minister calling a press conference last evening, a lengthy press conference last evening, where he has said to the nation, we have crossed the trip line. Okay. Prime Minister Andrew Holness on Monday night announced a range of measures aimed at halting the surge in COVID-19 cases. We have now crossed the trip line, he said, after announcing another 83 new cases in the past 24 hours. Just let that sink in, everybody. 83 new cases in the past 24 hours. This has brought Jamaica's COVID tally to 1,612. So, the Prime Minister has now said something more needs to be done to curtail the spread of corona. So, new measures are in place effective August 27 to September 30. They include an all-island curfew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily, effective August 27 to September 30. The daily curfew will continue for St. Thomas, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew and Clarendon from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. until September 2. Suspension of entertainment events requiring permits. Those for which permits have been granted must be cancelled and the promoter must be refunded. I'm hoping we stick to this because, all right, that's another story for another time. Funerals will be prohibited island-wide effective August 27, but burials will be allowed with up to 15 persons, including the officiating minister. Guys, let me tell you, there are a lot of people who are really upset right now at the fact that they have to be curtailing their lives and you know, it's impacting other people because we are all not doing what we're supposed to do. And if you're selfish about it, it's going to touch everybody. And that's what's happening right now. Right? So can we try and see if we can stick to these protocols and see maybe if we can start to see the numbers go down just a little bit, because as it stands, the future looks so bleak, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but if we don't do what we're supposed to do, then you know exactly what's going to happen. All right, so let's just put hands and heart together and try and see what we can do to curtail the spread of corona. In the meantime, Police Federation Chairman Sergeant Petray Rowe is in COVID quarantine this morning. It is reported that his decision to get tested came after another cop who was assigned to the Detention and Courts Division contracted the virus. His office is located on the building where that officer is based. That building was closed for 4 days, and that was confirmed by the state-owned entity to occupants of that premises. It's actually the Ocean Boulevard offices. In addition, sources say in recent days he has been working closely with Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson, who we heard yesterday, or was it the day before, had actually tested positive for corona. And here we go again. People's National Party's Manchester Central candidate Peter Bunting and St. Andrew West Rural's Crystal Tomlinson are out of Tuesday's political debate, that's today, on social issues. PNP Gen Sec Julian Robinson says the two have withdrawn because they were exposed to persons who have either tested positive or are suspected to be COVID positive. And the mayor of Mandeville, Donovan Mitchell, has tested positive for COVID-19. He attended the signing of Bunting's nomination form at the Electoral Office of Jamaica in Mandeville. So we see the nature of this thing. It's not a joke, people. We wish all of these folks who are quarantining, in quarantine, have tested positive, potential cases. We wish you all the best. And for those of you who have tested positive, we wish you a speedy recovery, including our legend Usain Bolt. Lots of debate around that issue right now, but it has been confirmed by the Minister of Health that Usain Bolt has tested positive for COVID-19. He was responding to a question at a virtual press briefing, and he said the authorities have initiated contact tracing. The minister said he's not aware of anyone coming into the island and breaching quarantine orders, but said, "We do not discriminate depending on the person. The rules apply to everyone, and to that extent, or the extent that we have information, the rules would apply in this case." The Prime Minister, also at the press conference, said the police are investigating the circumstances surrounding that party. That is the source of the debate. This video has been circulating first on social media and now on mainstream media, not only in Jamaica but all across the world. Yesterday I saw headlines from the UK, the US of this story. This is where we are, folks. Yeah. So again, Usain, we wish you all the best. He did post a video yesterday to say that he is not having any symptoms and he feels okay. But out of a sense of responsibility, he's going to keep himself in quarantine. Oy vey. All right. Are we playing that? Is there audio on that?
And also having no symptoms, so going to quarantine myself and wait on the confirmation to see what is the protocol and how should I go about quarantining myself from the Ministry of Health. So until then, talk to all my friends and tell them that if you're not coming in contact with me, you should just to be safe, quarantine by yourself and just to take it easy. And just to make people know, be safe out there. All right? Cool.
All right, so that's a video that was circulating yesterday. That prompted a lot of chatter in social media to say, okay, what happened? Did he not know? Did the results leak? How is it that, social media is talking about this before he did? But then the minister came out and confirmed that he was actually positive. Okay, Hong Kong man, first case documented of getting coronavirus twice. Researchers say this gentleman in his 30s reinfected after having the disease. Apparently, from what I've heard or from what I've seen in the news, first time round he had symptoms. Second time round he's asymptomatic. Doctors are saying this is good news because what it's doing is mimicking what the vaccine will look like and showing that indeed you may be able to get it a second time, but you should be okay if you are reinfected. During his first episode of illness, the patient had a cough, sore throat, fever, and headache for 3 days, according to this study. Tested positive for COVID on March 26. Tested positive again during his entry screening at the Hong Kong airport on August 15. He was hospitalized again, but remained asymptomatic. So it is possible. Genetic analysis suggested that the first infection was from a strain of the coronavirus most closely related to strains from the US or England, and the second infection was most closely related to strains from Switzerland and England. Strains? How many are there? Oh my gosh, I'm over corona. All right, guys. Even as the RNC have their conference in the States, Democratic National Conference was last week, there are still tensions, high tensions about race relations in the United States, not made better by this story. Wisconsin police shoot a black man as his children watch from a vehicle. His attorney says 2 Wisconsin police officers went on leave Monday as state authorities investigate why a black man was shot multiple times in the back. as he entered the driver's side door of an SUV. His 3 children, 3, 5, and 8, were in the car, a family attorney said. Identified by the governor as Jacob Blake, the man is in stable condition, so grateful for that, in an intensive care unit. Ben Crump, also on this case, familiar attorney also associated with some of the high-profile cases we've seen in recent weeks. A video circulated, spread across social media Sunday evening, sparking protests and leading county officials to institute a curfew that remained in place until Monday morning. Another will be instituted from 8 p.m., was instituted last night, 8 p.m., until 7 o'clock this morning. I can't believe it. I mean, protests are still continuing across the world. And even with all of that and the Black Lives Matter movement, these things are still happening. Who knows what will happen? We will see what happens coming out of the elections, but that's not until November. So we watch that closely. In the meantime, back at home, everybody, ISSA, the Inter-Secondary School Sports Association, is announcing the cancellation of all sporting activities, all sporting competitions for the Christmas term of the 2020-2021 academic year. Man, this is a tough blow for all the students who would have trained, who have done what they were supposed to do. You know, no champs this year. Such an odd place to be where, I think, is this the first time in 110 year, 100 and how much year history of champs it hasn't been kept? First or second? I'm not sure, but obviously an anomaly and tough for the youngsters and the coaches and the teams and the schools who would have prepared, but unnecessary intervention. ISSA is saying that the decision was made in light of the delayed start of the reopening of schools amidst the recent surge of positive cases of the coronavirus in Jamaica. Among the competitions affected by the cancellation is the 2020 schoolboy football season, which was awaiting approval for an October start. Quote, having previously proposed an October 16, 2020 restart to our competitions, ISSA will use the next 8 weeks to reassess the conditions under which schools will reopen and how they will operate, the association said. Subject to this assessment and the suitability of conditions, ISSA, through consultations with its membership, will determine the list of competitions to be offered and a new timetable for the resumption of school sports. Tough time. Please stay close to the kids. Parents, coaches, it's a rough time for them. I mean, just even having to explain to the youngsters that there's no school in September, or school will be, not as they expected it in September. Some schools are no doubt start online, but they were so looking forward to going back out and being with their friends that we just have to stay close to them and make sure they're okay, because this is a tough one for them. Parents are saying, however, it is the right move, so they welcome ISSA's move to cancel sports this term. National Parent Teacher Association of Jamaica Vice President Stuart Jacobs believes that the decision by ISSA to cancel sporting competitions for the upcoming school term was inevitable given the recent spike in COVID-19 cases. So, as I said, a lot is going on. In the midst of it, folks, please remember, our responsibility, your responsibility, is to mask up, wash your hands, and physically distance to keep yourself and your loved ones safe. Still to come, courts rest easy. For News is 5 is up. After this break, please stay with us. More on Smile after this.